he's turning on his campaign engines, you could say. Last week, he attended 5 fundraisers. It comes amid concerns about the president's age and his stamina, as you know. Here he was addressing just that.
By the way, I've been doing this a long time. I know I don't look that old, I know. I'm a little under 103. A lot of you are tired. You're tired. No, I get it. Try being 110 and doing it again.
It's really funny.
Okay. All right. Well, a recent NBC poll showed 68% of Americans are concerned about the president not having the necessary mental and physical health to be president. By the way, we see that basically in every single poll. Is this smart of him, Brad, to do this?
Yeah, the age is nothing you can control, but what you can control is what you do as president. And look at the last 3 years, and the president has a historic legislative agenda full of results that no president has been able to accomplish beforehand. Oh, and by the way, we did it with just a 4-seat majority, which Speaker McCarthy is realizing how problematic that can be. So we've got results on gun safety, on climate change, on lowering prescription drugs.
But you know the questions are there, right?
They're going to be there.
You can't laundry list everything, and then you see the president falling over
a sandbag,
saying Iraq instead of Ukraine, all those sorts of things.
It's up to voters to decide. I mean, if we're going to talk about verbal blunders, I mean, you look at George W. Bush and Donald Trump, they were not good public speakers. And so what voters have to decide come next November is, do you want a president that's producing results that make your life easier and making you proud to be an American, or one that's going to be divisive and have all kinds of investigations around their neck? And I think voters are going to choose President Biden again.
My old boss, Karl Rove, I worked for George W. Bush, and, he wasn't falling over anything. So I would just make that distinction. If anything, he was riding out, he was out riding his bike with the Wounded Warriors. So you can make a couple verbal gaffes when that happens. But, last week, Karl said at the Aspen Ideas Festival, he said, we're at a point in our country's history where people are dying for a generational shift. And whatever party understands that is going to capture the future. As a Republican, who's probably not of the generation that a lot of other Republicans are, I'm looking for someone who doesn't just make America great again. I'm looking to what we're going to make America in the future. So I'm looking for future forward-thinking leadership that can rally people across the aisle so that we can unite and actually bring that into fruition.
The last Democratic campaign manager to help win re-election was Jim Messina. I spoke to him last week about this very issue. Watch.
I think the White House is doing what they should do on this, which is getting the president out there repeatedly to talk and have people see him doing his job. And then the other thing is you started to see President Biden making jokes about his age. I think that's super smart.
Super smart, Chris?
I got to tell you, the dubious nature of Joe Biden's decision to seek another term becomes clearer and clearer as we go on. And watching him last week in Chicago really struggle through those economic remarks. It was hard to watch. And the problem that the country confronts right now is that there may be a choice between a person who is pretty obviously infirm, right? Joe Biden, I believe the people who say that behind closed doors, Joe Biden remains sharp and decisive and can do that stuff. But it's hard to watch Joe Biden in public. It's really tough. And on the other hand, we have a guy who is a mounting stack of indictments against, and just January 6th and strewn with all of this stuff. And I feel the despair of an electorate that looks at the fact that these are the two frontrunners for the nomination. And that's really unworthy of a country this good. And I just think that Biden's decision, as we move further into the cycle, looks more and more dubious. I think there's a lot of me that says he should have stepped aside and let his party come to a better choice.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.